Hello, I'm Rick Stivers with YoungMartin'sReels, and today we're going to be working on this Shakespeare Tiger, and I'm going to do the best I can to get this thing done here. Mario is on his way to pick his reels up, so I'm going to go ahead and try to knock this thing out real quick. Now, what kind of problems does it have? I can show you real quick. Number one, see how much wobble we got in the handle? I'm going to see if we can't take that out of it. And you know what? I don't think we have to take this off at all, but I'm going to leave it off to clean this right here. All right, so I don't think we have to take that off. I think we can get by with, let's try just tightening this screw on this side and see if that doesn't, oh yeah, there goes all of the loose handle right there. Okay, but this still has some problems that we're going to have to deal with. So let's go ahead, let's pull the handle out of it. Well, no, we're going to wait for a minute because we're going to take the cover off. And definitely got to do some cleaning there. And here's where the problem is. And I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this okay. I'm going to zoom in. All right. If you look real careful right here, there's actually a groove cut into the spinner head right here. There's also a groove cut into the pin. Well, what we're going to do, and what's happening is when he gets a really big fish on, his monofilament line is trying to stick down inside those grooves, and it's really causing it to bind up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my file and see if I can't file that away on both this edge and that edge, and then smooth a little bit with some sandpaper and see if we can't get it smoothed back out, and see if we can't make this functional again. But right now, it's not functional. So let's see if we can get this unscrewed off of here. I'm going to zoom back out. There we go. All right, and we're going to unscrew this screw on the side over here. And this Shakespeare Tiger of his has got some age on it. And I told him I would see what I could do. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do anything for his foot in the amount of time that I've got. He's got a cracked foot. But he said it was holding on to the reel pretty good. And he said he wasn't really worried about that. So we're not going to worry ourselves too much about that either. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to get the rest of this done. We're going to pull this clip off of here and slide off the rotor. Okay, now this piece up here, the plastic piece, just to mate this together, but it's pretty crucial. This will not mate up to that or spool properly without this piece on there, so don't lose it. All right. Okay, we're up to that point. We're going to take out this screw on the side right here. Okay, slide that over to the side. And we're going to see if we can rotate this. There we go. I think it rotated enough. Let's see if I got it enough. Yeah, I did. It's kind of sticky. Anyway, what I was saying is Shakespeare made several versions of this. And if you look, I happen to have two of them right here. And I'm going to offer both of those up to Mario today, I think. See if he's interested in taking them home with him. We'll see. But we're going to see if we can get this one up and running good for him. So I think the next thing we're going to do is pull out these 4 screws here so that we can pull this axle assembly out. Or crankshaft, sorry. And on there. That removed those. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And we'll set these on that side. Take that bearing cap off. And now these could be bearings. If you wanted to put bearings in here, I believe that you could probably find a set if you wanted to do what they call hot rodding a reel. I haven't gotten into that myself, but there's several people who are into that. Yeah, this reel is very dry. And it definitely needs some nice, even these, that's really sticky. Even though it's a bushing instead of a bearing, it's not turning very well. So if we clean that old grease out of there, put some fresh grease in there, that'll turn much better. Okay, let's see what we got down here. Now, when we look at this axle shaft, if you look down inside here, can you see good? Let's zoom in a little bit. All right, if you look, this spring right here is on each side of that. So when you put it back in, you've got to make sure to get that on there. All right, and that's just going to lift right out. Okay, and that pretty much takes care of most of what deals with the operation of this reel. We're going to scrub it up real quick, and we're going to come back and reassemble it, and try to stop saying All right, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to take this file and trying to file away that groove. And I want to leave no trace of it left. If there's any of it left, then it's most likely going to start all over again. Okay, there's no trace of that one, but we still got one on the other side. Same thing. So let's start all over again and do it again. The most worrisome part about doing this is going all the way through. Once you got a hole, there's nothing more you can do with it. And if you had a truly valuable reel, I guess you could find you a really skilled welder to weld that up and rebuff it again. There we go. Okay, now, yeah, we've got a little bit of coarseness right there. There we go. All right. And I'm doing that very lightly. I'm not putting hardly any tension, just to kind of polish any scratches out. Now I've got to see what I can do about the pin. And I really don't want to break it, so I got to be careful. Okay, for anybody that doesn't have a Dremel tool, that's probably good enough and will work just fine. But if you do have a Dremel tool with a polishing wheel, you might want to try to polish it up a little bit just to make it a little slicker. Now, one part of this we didn't take apart, and I haven't taken apart before, so let's take a quick look at it. Let's loosen this up. Let's see, we're going to go to loose, which is this direction, and that allows this to screw. I don't see how this comes off any, so I think we're going to leave it alone. But the thing that you do want to do is tighten this down enough so that when you align these two notches right here like that, and tighten this down enough to hold them in place while you slide the spool back on. Okay? All right, let's see if we're ready to put this back together. Here's our axle assembly. Now the axle assembly actually has a bearing I didn't try to take it. Hey, there it goes. Let's clean in behind it a little bit. Okay, there's our bearing assembly. And like I said, you could probably buy some similar to these to go in these sides, but they'd have to be bigger than these. But similar to hot rod that side. In the meantime, this one is in very functional shape. It works good. We're going to put it on the axle shaft. We're going to give it a coat of oil. Spin it around a little bit. Okay. Next, we're going to grease pinion gear. I've already inspected it. So let's grease it. Like so. And then what we want to need to make sure of is that the pinion can push in, or axle shaft can push in. So we're going to come over here, set this down on the table, and push down, and make sure that it slides up and down. And that is an extremely strong spring on there. So if you don't need to take that apart, you certainly don't want to, because that would be a booger bear to put back. Okay, now we're going to come back and we're going to put grease in there where that's going to slide up and down on that spring. And because this rotates right here, instead of being greased, we're going to oil it. Although it's mostly riding on this bearing right here. And we're ready to slide this back in. Now remember, these two prongs on this spring right here have to go on each side of this notch. Yep, my bearing just fell off. So let's go ahead and put the bearing down inside so that can't happen again. And while we got it in there, let's go ahead and give it one more drink of oil. There we go. I believe in oiling bearings, but I believe in oiling them liberally. Okay, slide your axle in. Make sure that spring is on each side like that, so it can kick back and forth. Now we're ready to slide our crankshaft assembly back in, but here's the thing. It has to be clean. It has to be greased. Okay, I've already cleaned it, although it looks like it could use a little bit more cleaning right here. All right, now, if you took this apart, hopefully, when you did, you made sure about the shims on each side. You see these shims? There's 2 shims on this side, and I believe this has 6 on this side. Well, they would have varied them at the factory, depending on what they needed to do to get this gear to mesh properly with this gear. So if you took that apart, try to make sure that you get your shim packs back in the same stacking that you had. All right, I'm going to go ahead and grease this side where the bushing goes. A little more grease than that. There we go. I'm going to slide that bushing on. Roll it around a little bit so it'll get tacky with the grease. Yeah, see this side over here? That's what I was trying to keep that side from doing. It fell off. Take your shims and put them back. Okay. Grease up this side. And then put your bushing back on. Work it in a little bit so that it won't fall off anymore. Okay, once you got those 2 done, you need to come back and grease your gears, your gear teeth. All right, with that done, you're going to set this back down inside. making sure that your axle shaft is down in there. Set your 2 bushings down into the slots that they fit into. This one over here is not in its slot. There it goes. There, now it's down in there. Okay. And that looks well. Now we'll put the bushing cap on this side. If you had bearings, it'd be a bearing cap. Put those in. Tighten the screws. I think we need number 2 for this. Now we're going to do the same thing on this other side. Now what's going to set the tension of this, first off, is going to be the shims are going to adjust the placement, but the tension on this is going to be that handle when it's screwed in. Remember that handle that was so loose? Well, with it being so loose, that would allow this gear to shift back and forth quite a bit. And that can cause binding. Now, can you over tighten that handle? Yeah, I believe you probably could. Once you've done that, at this point you could go ahead and put your handle back on if you wish. I have not scrubbed this. Give me a second. There. All right, we're going to put this back on. Slide it back in this side over here. We'll come back and slide this one in this side, like so, and tighten the handle down. Okay, nice and secure, and that thing turns much nicer. All right, we're going to slide our spool back on. Now, when we put our spool on, it's got these 2 slots. One here, one over here on this side. They've got to line up with these 2 notches here on each side. All right, you slip that in. There it goes. You want it to go down. Now, the spring on this side is wanting to push it up, and that's fine because you got to be set for that. Okay, push it down, hold it in place, take your clip, and put your clip back on. Like so. All right, now, there's your drag. And there's your drag clicker. That's what that little spring was. Yeah, we're going to come back. Remember this piece I told you not to lose? Well, we're going to put it back on right here. And you rotate it around until the little notches inside it, or little post inside here, see those? They've got to fit into these 2 notches right here. When they do, it'll drop down just like that. Okay, we put a lot of work into this, so we definitely want to make sure to oil it so that these will move freely. And then we're going to set it back on top here and just screw it down. All right, there you go. Now, come back, and I've scrubbed this up a little bit, but here's what I'm going to do. It was really tight coming on and off. So if you look, there's these little notches right here. Okay, see where the post is supposed to come in and then slide over to the side? Well, it doesn't want to do that very well. So what we're going to do is we're going to put very, very light grease in those locations. Okay, that way when we set this back in place, hopefully it's going to turn a lot better. Find your post, slide your post on, and rotate it back into place, like so. Okay, now when you push your button, it should lock the pin in, and when you rotate it, the pin should pop back out. All right, we're going to... Okay. You know, we would normally have some line on here, which we don't have right now. And the only thing we're missing is this side plate here. There should be a hole right there for the back plate screw. I'll set that one in. One place that looks like I haven't cleaned very well is right here on the bottom of the button, because that was sitting up inside the case and I didn't notice it. Okay, so I'll clean that up a little bit. All right, there you have Mario's Shakespeare Tiger reel. I don't see no reason why this can't go out and catch redfish now. I think it's going to work just fine for him. And this is Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels. If you like what you saw here, well, this is kind of a scattered mess, and you guys that watch me a lot know that I don't usually let things go this bad. But I was in a hurry to get this done before Mario gets here. He's on his way in from Divine, and I wanted to have it ready when he got here. So I won't be editing this until later, so hopefully I haven't missed something. But that's it. If you like what you saw, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. But tell me what it is you didn't like. And for now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.